Hi guys, how are you? Thank you for joining me today. My name is Miriam from Realty One Group here in Riverside, California. Wanted to just put this video up to explain supplemental taxes. I received a call from one of my buyers just a few days ago, and she was really concerned, freaking out about the supplemental tax. She had been sitting with her friends and they had been talking about this tax, and all of a sudden she just called me and said, you know what, I need to back out of the transaction. I can't afford this. This is crazy. And so I thought, wait a minute, but we went over this during our disclosure process. So thinking about it, I thought, there's probably some misinformation in there somewhere. And so I talked to her right then and there and said, okay, what's going on? And so she let me know that she and her friend had been talking about the supplemental tax bill, and that she had calculated the amount that it was going to be about a $20,000 tax, and that she couldn't afford it. So I let her know. I said, look, let me go ahead and work out the numbers for you, and these are just estimates, but you'll see that it is not $20,000. So before I do that, let me go ahead and explain in the best way that I can what a supplemental tax bill is. And now remember, I'm a real estate agent. I'm not a tax person. I'm not a lawyer. So if you want more clarification, please talk to your tax person. Please talk to your lawyer, okay? So first of all, from my understanding, this is the way I've explained it to people in the past, is when a seller is selling their property, they had purchased it at a certain amount and the property had been assessed its value by the county assessor's office. If it was purchased in the last few years, then of course the value of that property is a lot less than it is now, which we're in 2015 already, my goodness. So let's say that someone purchased a property a couple years ago and they purchased it for $100,000. Okay, and it was assessed at $100,000. Alrighty. Today that property might be listed for, let's say, $200, $250. Okay, so then that would be up here. So this gap between the previously assessed value of $100,000 and the newly assessed value of $150 creates this gap. Okay, and that gap would be, in this case, $150,000. So that's how you figure out what that gap is. You take that gap value and you multiply it times the home's tax rate. Okay, so you'll have to ask your agent what that tax rate is on that home, and that'll help you figure out an estimate of what your that supplemental tax bill will be. All right, so the next step is to understand that this property will be reassessed after the close of escrow. How soon after the close of escrow? We don't know. It just depends how busy the assessor's office is. All right. But I always tell my clients, expect this supplemental tax bill sometime within the next 12 months. All right. So going back to my client, she had been speaking with her friends, and her friends were telling her where the tax rate is 8%, which is the sales tax rate, not the tax rate on the property. And so that's why she was coming up with a $20,000 tax bill. And so I know there's a lot of terms in real estate that people are not very familiar with because it's not something that they're working on every single day like us agents. And so it's really, I just commended her so much for taking the time to ask me these questions before she just totally, was walking away from something that is a wonderful opportunity for her. So by doing the calculations and the estimates, her tax bill ended up being just about $800. So, and that was something that was workable for her. And so she was so relieved and so happy that she didn't have the $20,000 tax bill anymore. So guys, you ever have any real estate questions, I tell all my clients, there is no such thing as a stupid question, because these aren't things that most people are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. I mean, this is a supplemental tax bill. It's a one-time bill. So unless you're buying a house constantly, you're not aware of these things. So anyways, I hope that eases a lot of minds out there. And if you have any questions or anything, please, feel free to email, call me, or comment here on this video. Just a side note, because I am a real estate agent, I am really busy always, showing properties, getting into contracts and things like that. So I don't have a lot of time to post videos. I'm hoping that I can find that perfect balance where I can do it all. But still working on it. It's a work in progress. I appreciate you guys very much, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.